Hi everyone, this is Khan speaking. Today we're going to talk about character design. Character design is a huge discipline, particularly in video games, where we try to find the most original design of a character, personality, costume, everything that fits into either gameplay or a story. Character design very often means that you need to involve a few of your skills, like figure drawing skills, designing abilities, knowledge about certain materials, and of course making the character fulfill its purpose. So think about what character does, and that's gonna help us define who this character is. Now, the idea with this lesson is to tie it in with a previous lesson I did, which is the lesson on creature design, and I'm going to quickly show you what we did. We did the creature design of a mountain howler, as we called it, and this is a creature that lives in a kind of a alpine environment, cold mountain environment. The creature is rather large and it's an omnivore. And as for the character, I was thinking it would be a good idea to do a character that is somehow connected to this creature. And that's why I thought of, instead of making just some generic soldier as you see everywhere, we should maybe make something that is more constructive and more positive, and not just a character that kills other characters. So I was thinking of designing a scientist that is doing a research on these creatures. He's probably just following these creatures around, taking notes, and this character needs to be exposed to the environment that they live in, and in a certain way we can make up a whole background story about the relationship between this character and the creatures. So yeah, it is going to be a scientist, and it is going to be connected to this creature, and the idea that this creature lives on a planet very, very similar to Earth. So I'm not going to do something completely outlandish. And also the reason why this creature isn't completely outlandish is because it lives in similar environment, and environments dictate the way living creatures look like, and that's going to include our scientists. Now we can think of all things that the scientists need. Special equipment to survive this environment. Can that scientist breathe normally? And all these things. How hostile is this environment? We need to think about these things when we create this character. Also, thinking about what this character exactly does and how does he or she do it. So, as I mentioned in the previous lecture with creature design, the most crucial part of the whole process is the one that happens before drawing, and that's the thinking part. So we have to think, we have to engage ourselves into intellectual exploration before we go into an actual design exploration, before we explore visuals. We have to think, and thinking, I can't emphasize this enough, thinking is the most important part, and it should always take place before you start drawing, not while you're drawing. And because I did it for a while, I did it the wrong way. I would just start doodling, start scribbling, and things would come kind of halfway here and halfway there, and then I would have to fix all the flaws and mistakes, and it was never really that original. So I think it really makes a whole lot of sense to just really spend some time and do a research. Another point is I don't want to make something that you've seen a million times. I'm not trying to say that I'm going to make something that is completely original, because I don't even think it's possible, but let's just narrow it down to something that you don't see as often in character design. For which reason I'm going to actually do something like I'm gonna make something that reminds us of the early explorers of wilderness, and particularly polar regions. So I went online and I grabbed a bunch of references, mainly from the sort of Victorian period, where these brave men went out and they, with almost nothing, just went out into this harshest of environments, exploring and exposing their lives to all sorts of dangers. And as you can see, that immediately creates very, very interesting details and immediately creates stories in your head. And that's exactly what we want. We want, when people look at our character, we want people to be engaged and to think of the character's personality, and not about the character's I don't know, bits and bobs like belts and weapons and all this stuff, which I don't like anyway. So yeah, you see, it's not everything about early explorers, but like there's stuff like some Japanese maintenance men, also a fighter pilot, because I do want to bring some of the modern elements into it. I don't want to make another old explorer. I want to make him modern. But if you look at these modern suits, they're quite boring, they're quite dull, and there's nothing really special. They pretty much look like skiing suits. So we do want to bring a bit more interest, which is why I want to kind of dig in the old archives and maybe introduce some of the designs that existed way before. And unfortunately, there's this steampunk thing that creeps along with anything Victorian do, and I put this image in here on purpose because I do not want to make anything steampunkish here as well. It's a reminder I shouldn't do that, but I should try to find a balance between this and that, and it should give me some interesting things. I do like modern colors, and if I combine modern colors with some of the older designs and introduce materials like fur and work with silhouettes that are similar to these, I think we're going to get a similar an interesting result. Okay, so the next step is going to be thumbnailing. We're going to explore silhouettes just to find right posture, right kind of silhouette weight of the figure, and then we go from there.